ओके लेट्स गो. इसको इंट्रोडक्शन देना पड़ेगा ना मुझे सॉर्ट ऑफ. हाँ ओके. 2 मिनट रुक जाना. क्या बोला ना. हाँ बैठक नाम रखा है ना उसका हमने. ठीक है. Hey guys, hi. I'm Sahil. I'm your host today. Welcome to Baithak. This is the first episode of our podcast, and we have Shivang with us. So Shivang and I have been friends since VIT Vellore. So we started off our stint together at ECEL VIT. I did a bunch of things there. We kind of worked on a few projects back then, and from then Shivang went on a journey to build out interactive digital media, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
Interactive Digital Media, which is his parent entity for whatever apps he's been building, whatever things he's been building. So yeah, we'll have a discussion with Shivang on that, and also on his. We'll start off with your early life, like how did you get into this builder mode? Like how was your childhood? Where did you grow up? All of that.
Okay. So I was born in a tier 3 city.
Hmm.
We didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up, to be
Okay.
honest. We hardly had a McDonald's in our city. So McDonald's was a luxury for us back then. Every time we would visit a big city, it would be so fascinating to see those large buildings, luxury cars. Always been a car enthusiast. Like I've been reading car magazines since I was, I think 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of my early drives that pushed me to take entrepreneurship seriously, because I knew the only way I could get to that level would be through business. I don't know. That was my.
I think similar interest. Like I and Shivang White, because we both like cars. Like cars was like very interesting, fun point that even I had a very big fascination for growing up as a kid. Like even today, my major aim is I would want to own a Porsche one day. Like that is a tier one aim that I have. I want to do this, and therefore I have to make a shit ton of money, and that might come through business and startup and entrepreneurship.
You're right. Like yeah, back then I think business was the only way you could get to a Porsche, but I think things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed.
Things have changed big time.
IPO is happening.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, so I grew up in a business family. I saw a lot of ups and downs with my dad early on in the life. We, okay, I can't talk about that, but it was good. As I grew up, I realized business is not easy. Things get tough. They get really tough at times, and you just have to show up the next day. I learned that from my dad, and he was one of my motivations. And when I told him I wanted to drop out and get into a business, he had no problem. He
How
said,
was that conversation like? What were your arguments to him to say? I know third year you dropped out, right?
third year,
It's
yes.
like 1 year remaining. What
Correct.
was it? What were you thinking? कि नहीं मुझे अभी ये करना है. Like I want to drop out and I want to start working on this vision of mine. What was that point for you?
Okay, so it all started with one point. That was the second day I was in college, and I had read about some N block person doing varsity buses, doing trips, and everybody was talking about him.
Oh, I remember.
Very early in the college days.
Yep.
And I remember sitting in my hostel room and searching, what if I drop out and start my own business? Because I was so fascinated by his story early on and then. And I knew that I wanted to learn as much as I could, but my end goal was to get into business.
Okay.
And with time, as I learned more stuff in college, I also ended up realizing I might have chosen the wrong stream altogether.
How?
So by third year, it was pretty conclusive. Mechanical and me on paper looked very good because I was a car enthusiast, but in reality, we were very, very different. I didn't like what I studied. So I took the hard call. I told my dad, I remember, that you know what, I want to do a business, and it's not going to be anything related to mechanical to begin with. So I don't see a point. What if you give me my last year's college fund as a seed money, and I'm going to get started with my business? Naive of me if I look back now, but yeah, he said, why do it? Yeah. I mean, why don't you try?
Yeah, I feel it wasn't. It was a good decision that you took because it wasn't adding any value to your life. Like you stayed one more year, you might have just been like, "यहाँ ठीक है placements देख ही लेते हैं क्या होता है," and then through that path you might have reached to this again point somehow, or you might have gone again on a different path. But I think you were on a good
so
role then. Like,
by second year, I had realized that I am gonna drop out. I just stuck around for another 6 months because I
Hmm.
wanted to learn as much as I could.
Huh.
I went to those trips in college, like one with Team Uttejit, then one with SP to
Right.
US, and
Correct.
that gave me the right experience and the confidence. Ki, look, the world is too big.
Hmm.
Uh, so I just wanted to get started then. The moment I came back from Malaysia from the college,
Huh.
I just packed my bags, went home. That was my
That
journey.
was
I
the
came
last
from
trip.
Chennai to Vellore, packed
And
my bags, back to Vellore to Chennai and back home. And I was like, I'm gonna do my own business.
what was the first business? I remember something you were doing with the car
Yeah,
interior thing, something like that.
Auto Relics.
Auto relics, yes.
Yeah. So the idea was I wanted to create an app that would allow people to book their car service
Hmm.
from the comfort of their houses, and somebody would just come in like Urban Clap does, right?
Huh.
Urban Company.
Right.
And somebody would come, take your car, put a tracker inside it, and then take it to the service center, get it serviced, and bring it back to you.
Bring it back to you.
And that idea looked good on paper, but as I started executing it, there were a lot of loopholes. And
Okay.
that was my first set of learning as a business person.
What were these loopholes? Like if you could go in detail कि मतलब ये learning था जिससे लगा कि हाँ ये issue है sad, because I think Go Mechanics is also trying
Yeah.
to target something similar, a chain of partnered garages, and
Yes.
you kind of drop and pick up for service. All of that system they have also built out.
So,
So-
when I was researching in 2018, I realized the cost side of it doesn't make sense. So
Okay.
I was always more inclined to do something that is more of a bootstrap / family business because I wanted to work with my dad.
Right.
And when I did the math after talking to a few service centers, it just didn't make sense. It was like, you're burning money for what? Nothing. There's no loyalty.
Huh.
Once my car is out of warranty, I'm not going to go to the same service center. I'll just get it serviced from wherever I want.
Correct.
And 6 months in, I realized the math isn't making sense at all. I did partner up with a few service centers because that was my first thing, because I wanted to understand the cost model of it. Did that, then came back to the research and realized the math is not making any sense, and told my father the same thing. And he said, look, this is what happens in business. You start something and then you realize things are not going your way. So what do you do? And at the time, since I was in touch with these service centers, I casually told them, would you be interested in like a website of sorts where people could book service but from your own website instead of my ecosystem?
Right. Okay.
And that got me started with like 3-4 initial customers that I was looking for, and that was the start for me in the tech industry.
So these were like these official service centers, like Skoda wale. I remember
Yes.
telling me.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
correct,
not
correct.
like these local mechanics and garage.
Mix of both.
Mix of both.
Mix
Okay.
of both. So I did partner up with Maruti, Maruti Service Center in Noida, with Skoda Service Center in Noida back in the day. And I was also talking to Hyundai before I decided I'm not going to do that. Also met with Toyota at the time and BMW as well, now that I recall. But just the cost model didn't make sense. Just
in
let
that
go.
You
of
were
it.
doing commission-based systems, right?
Yes.
Like you were taking commission on whatever people were coming in for, like whatever
Yeah,
charge.
but I had my own labor cost because somebody had to go pick up the car,
Right.
put a tracker inside it, okay, and then get the car. And the other idea that we had was that you, as a owner of the car, could see it from the camera.
Okay.
Okay,
क्या चल रहा है?
क्या चल रहा है कार पे, and live status update.
हाँ.
But this wasn't making sense. So just drop
I
it.
think that tracking the entire thing would add a lot of cost to your side. वो commission से तो cover नहीं होगा मतलब.
Exactly. So just moved on from that. Got those few set of customers to do the website because I had already come out of college. And pandemic happened by then.
Oh, right.
So I realized going back to college wasn't really gonna be fruitful. So why not just take these customers and do something with them?
Right.
So started doing a few websites. I was more like a freelancer in the start to begin with.
Okay.
Just me, and then we had couple more people, so started expanding the team slowly. And that's how we got into then. Once we started picking up website projects, we picked up some app developments, we took up some marketing projects. So basically tried my hands on everything.
So this studio, what a studio model, right? People come to you with projects and you build that out, and once the project is done, it's done. So how does that model scale? Like, is there a good amount of money there in building, say, project for anyone or MVPs for others? Like, how do you think of that idea?
So that model before the ChatGPT era worked really well.
Okay.
Even if you were a single freelancer and if you could do sales,
Hmm.
there were a lot of opportunities. There still are a lot of opportunities.
Right.
I still work with a lot of companies who are legacy. Their business is very so. Since we are in tech, we know ChatGPT is this. It can do this. It can do that. Right. But not every industry is very familiar with it. Like few examples would be like maritime industry, or could be old age homes industry, and your sustainability. So back then they were not as tech heavy, and they were still looking to get into that.
Okay.
Build digital experiences for their customers, for their internal teams. And that's when we got a few set of customers. The money was good, definitely.
Okay.
But the biggest problem with this model is scaling up. You can be a wonderful freelancer,
Right.
but building a business takes a whole different scale.
Correct. Like we're realizing this right now. Okay, once you're scaling this kind of a model, maintaining quality and making sure your clients are uh, firm or guaranteed. कि, okay, these guys will build something great for me.
Yeah.
They would want us to work on that because we are the ones facing them. But we would want to kind of allocate a team to it, get it built out for them. Just do the fine tuning and overall high level work on our side, and then deliver the project to them. So this kind of takes a toll on that कि नहीं हमें ऐसा नहीं चाहिए कि we want someone expert building it, or building that rapport with your customer takes a while to get. And then the scale thing is completely different कि फिर मुझे बहुत बड़ी team hire करनी पड़ेगी. I have to look at okay what kind of projects I'm getting, and my costs are anyway going up. I can't do it at this budget that I was initially quoting. So these issues exist, I feel, and उसको solve करने के लिए कुछ क्या what did you do, like how did you figure out?
So I would say when you're approaching a business like this, it's good to take a goal-based approach. Like your expectations should be clear. Do you want to create a large business, or do you want to create a lifestyle business? A lifestyle business is that revolves around you, that is more like, in traditional terms, I'd say more like a doctor's clinic, where you are the main doctor. You have your assistant, but if a main customer walks in, he's gonna want to see the main doctor, not his interns or anybody else there. Right. So this model works very well as a lifestyle model. You have your own flexibility, you have your own small set of clients, and you're delivering with them. Right. In this model, churn is also very low.
Yeah.
Because once you sign a good customer and you keep them satisfied, they hardly move anywhere for 3-4 years. So that's what I have seen. The churn is quite low, and it all comes down to the customer experience, the delivery that you give. So if you're building a lifestyle business, great approach. You have your repo, you are an experienced person, people will give you projects. But if you're building it as a business that you want to scale up, you have to take yourself out of the equation. To start with, you can't say to a client, look, I have done this, I have done that. Stop.
It has to stop. We can't rely on our trust.
Then it has to be, what has the company done? And the team that will be working on the project, what has that team accomplished in the past?
Okay.
So the way to approach it is quite different. I've seen people building amazing lifestyle business with being agencies, small agencies, freelancers, solopreneurs. That's a term these days. Yeah. Very successful, but every time they try to scale things up, it's difficult. It's actually very difficult.
This is I'm realizing कि यहाँ पे scale is difficult, which is why we're trying a mix of something. Like we're doing की studio model भी है, but also we're building our own in-house products. Now these products might be something like कि okay, if you're building for a new company, it's an MVP studio, you're building out a product for them. Say they end up forming a company. So we provide all the auxiliary other tools that they need to run the company, like HR solutions, hiring solutions, whatever they are. Those will also plug in as our services to them.
Okay.
So that model completely exists in its own realm. Okay, that business will rely on this particular entity. And the second business of it is that we learn from all of this, we build our expertise in all of this, and we build our own product, which we are anyway have a team. You might not have a project every day to work on, but we just take that project, get some money in, and use it to fund our internal projects. So this is something we are experimenting with. I don't know if it will work or not, but it's again a solution to the scale problem which I feel कि ये करके अगर हम मतलब वही चीज करना है, product building ही तो करना है. You're doing it for someone else and you're making money from that. You're doing it for yourself and creating value out of that. तो मनी एंड वैल्यू का इक्वेशन बैठ जाता है उस पॉइंट पे
Right.
ऐसे.
So, like I remember meeting a very prominent investor. I can't name names,
Okay.
but I met him in a GSF event in Goa. That was September of 22.
Okay.
And at the time, I was sort of doing what you are doing now. I had a small agency and I was trying to build out a product.
I think Apric was the product.
Apric
first
was
time.
the product.
Correct.
Yes, correct. So we were trying to build that out, and we have a few agency clients. And when I was talking to him, he's, by the way, one of the leading investors in India today.
Okay.
Right? He's a managing director at a very, very large firm. He told me, you are sailing in two boats. Okay? Either build a product or build a service business that goes to, let's say, 5 CR, gives you the financial freedom, and then focus on the product.
Focus on the product.
At the time, I didn't take his advice seriously. I thought to myself, you know, he has his own thinking, I have my own thinking, I'm gonna crack it. Truth be told, I didn't crack it. It was very difficult. So we were juggling between those small customers that we had on the service side. We were trying to build a product, and it became a huge mess.
Yeah.
It became such a huge mess that it brought us back to where we started in 2021. Right? We were down to a single person. Like,
Okay.
I went from a team of 9 to 10 to back to 1.
Oh, it's just
because I didn't take his advice seriously.
Why did the team leave though? Like, what was the reason for attrition?
The team didn't leave. Things just sort of didn't work out.
Okay.
The product didn't pick up, and we had put a lot of resources into it. And eventually, you know, when you are running a team, everybody expects those annual appraisals and everything, right? And we couldn't give that. We hardly had any money to keep us going.
Right.
And what happened was, everybody ended up leaving. And yeah, I thought to myself, I went back to drawing board. In fact, it was just this year in April that I was down to a single person. And I thought to myself, I can become a solopreneur. I know how this service thing works. I thought, I'll just take up a few projects, do something like a lifestyle business. Now I knew I made an informed decision. I thought I'll build a lifestyle business.
It makes sense because lifestyle business also gives you the financial freedom to do it. Like, it's not a bad thing to do.
Oh, absolutely
it is a
not.
Great thing to do if you want to have control your own time and also build something of value. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you. I feel like in today's time, you can build a lifestyle business alone that can take you to $10,000 a month easily, just staying in India.
Yeah, possibly.
I know a lot of people who have done it.
There are so many who are doing it. Like, even just building out simple SaaS tools and putting it out as a single person, single developer, single designer, putting out a tool, making out Figma plugins and what they are building a good amount of revenue from that. Like, $10,000, $15,000 हो जाता है उनका.
Correct. So that was the case. I thought I'll become a solopreneur, but life had other plans.
Okay.
So this idea of a doer, kind of the app that I'm working on now, it was something that was in the back of my mind for quite some time. The only reason I wasn't ready to commit to it was because it was in the consumer side. And for the last good 4-5 years, I've been working in the B2B side. And I felt like I didn't understand the consumer market enough. B2B and consumer very different. B2B, you have 5 customers, the ticket size is pretty good, you're good. Yeah. Consumer, you need thousands of them just to survive.
That's a bigger issue in consumers, right? Like, just to even make those, again, maths work, to get few percentage of people will be paying users.
Correct.
To get a 2 to 10% users कि हाँ ये pay करेंगे तो उसके 2 lakh users से तब जाके it makes sense to monetize the 10,000 people that you have right now.
Exactly.
So that is a big issue in consumer. Even distribution is an issue because there are so many apps out there. You can't do Facebook marketing. You can't do Instagram marketing. So what has your journey been through that?
So when I finally started making the doer design, and we felt like, okay, this is the idea that I'm going to commit to while just doing a few projects on the side. Then things happened. The idea started moving too fast, too quickly. And it just went out of my hands. My bandwidth was 100% gone. In fact, more than 100%. And that's when I decided it would be a good idea to have a very small team that would help me run Adore
Okay.
while I continue to do my service side.
Freelancing, yeah,
Just
service sides.
do some freelancing stuff, keep things moving along, and make that investment into Adore. So that was the whole idea. And I was able to get these clients because of all the repo that we had created.
Yeah, word of
And
mouth before.
yeah, correct. I technically never went solopreneurship because we still had the same parent company, still continued working with
Same
sort of like
individuals.
not same projects, different projects altogether.
But the people you're working with still like had those relations, like wahi log the
Yeah,
freelancing ka karte.
I have relations with them, so yeah, they
Okay.
helped me get more projects. They knew my credibility, so I basically
Okay.
asked for reference. Like
Right.
if people could refer me to new projects, and that's how I got the ball rolling again.
Okay.
And then once this money started coming in, this time I consciously decided I would not scale my service business after a certain point.
Now, what was that point? Like, what point you feel is enough for a service business to scale to?
So for me, that point was just cover my expenses.
Okay.
Right, just get me through the expense.
Correct.
You
like
know, because
team building, my own rent, I can eat, I am fine.
yeah,
That's
correct. And then product and whatever comes from the product keeps going back to the product.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of got the cycle rolling again. And now we have a decently small team, and we've been working on another product as well, which I think 2-3 years ago I wouldn't have done that. Like just focused on one product, just do that. Right now, right from the get-go, I thought it would be a good idea to have two products.
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
Yeah, because the market around us is now rapidly changing.
Right.
You know, you would need hundreds of developers earlier to build a single mobile app. Today, you don't. That's the reality.
Our entire system is being built by Rahul alone. Like all the apps that we have built is Rahul. That is the only dev that we have. Rahul is sitting there.
Yeah. So that's the thing. You don't need as many people as you would previously, and if you understand that and if you can leverage that, it increases your odds of success. And consumer apps are tough.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
The consumer cycle is very fast. You would get a lot of users, a lot of feedbacks very quickly, but still takes time to work on those feedbacks and get the right mix.
Right. But you can't really listen to everything that the consumer is telling you to some extent. You have to like filter out okay, what their problems are, what they actually are thinking of when they are saying a certain thing or pointing certain problem out to the product in general. But also the issue is that by the time you are replicating these solutions these problems into solutions somewhere, these individuals are gone and there are new people with new problems on the platform.
Yeah.
So you have a barely 30-day retention period where you can like build out, ship, see whether it works or not, or else the user is gone. He just finds something else. He's like bored of the app, and it happens a lot when people just have the app on the phone and no more use it. They're like, "हाँ ठीक है, पड़ा रहेगा यहाँ पे." So that also is like a very reluctant user for you to like coax and to come back. ठीक है, try करो, नया product use किया, नया feature release किया. So that part is difficult, I feel. And with Adore also, it happened to me initially. I checked, I tested out the first version of it. Then I came back to it after a very long time and saw certain changes. Like, this is nice, this is cool. Then I told you, I feel that there's something missing still because I didn't have a lot of things to do inside the application.
Right.
Then we are bringing out a new feature. So that journey I've seen myself in the application. Okay, I have these periods where I take a break. I don't come back to the app after I've tested it, after I tried it out. I'll just see when someone else comes and refers me कि हाँ एक बार और try कर ले, अच्छी हो गई ऐप, तो मैं वापस आ जाऊँगा उस ऐप पे. So this journey to crack in consumer is difficult, I feel.
So technically those are nothing but cohorts, right? So one thing that we learned is if you get one cohort, you experiment whatever you want. It's very difficult to bring the same cohort again. So you have to go out and look for another cohort. And that's something that as a consumer app we realized. So now we have divided our work into batches. We would build something and then we would go down to marketing that and say ki we want to bring X users in this cohort and now see how does that impact our data that we previously made changes. And just keep repeating this cycle. So now we do a few weeks of development followed by a few weeks of aggressive marketing.
Yep.
aggressively analyzing the data
Huh.
and then going back to again the same cycle and doing it all over again. So
Yeah.
development, marketing, analyzing, then again development, marketing, analyzing. And we realize the faster we do this, the more it increases our odds, and it's showing in numbers that we are having retained users.
Okay.
So with this idea particularly, we did not have any acquisition problem.
Okay. Like just like a brief, like
Yeah.
what? How would you describe the application? What does it do? Who is it targeted towards? All of
Okay,
that.
so a doer is nothing but a digital planner, and that was the initial idea. I'm a big fan of journals,
Okay.
and I have bought tons of them over the last 3-4 years.
Huh.
But I could never continue using a one journal. I'd just see a lot of blank pages. I'd like to plan my day, but I couldn't. So it stemmed from my personal problem.
Okay.
I thought I'd convert that entire productivity journal experience into an app, so that I don't feel bad about leaving those empty pages at the end of the year. Right. And with an app, there's so much more possible than with a physical journal. With the physical journal, it also happened that I would buy one, and then the next month I'd find another cool one, and I'd just like switch to that, and then switch to the third one in a year.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, why don't we take this to a digital experience? That was the idea. That was just like the initial sort of concept of why I was attracted to this in the first place. But with time, it evolved. Every product evolves, and we found out that the core problem, in fact, it took us a lot of time to get there. The core problem that me or you or anyone uses a journal is to remember things, right?
Okay.
What do I need to do today? What do I need to do next week? Right? What did I learn today?
A planner type system.
Correct.
Right.
And then we realized that this problem is quite scattered. Like, you use Apple Notes. You are using right now.
I
right?
use Apple Notes a lot.
I'm using Apple Notes. I also use a Mac, so Apple Notes syncs there.
Correct.
Right? But there are a lot of people who have one iOS device and the other one is an Android. Right? So it does not sync there. Why do we use Apple Note? Again, to remember things.
Right.
That the thoughts we have, right? And when we went deeper and deeper, we went back to like the first principle thinking, and we realized the core problem is I just want to remember thing that I read or something that I want to do. All I want to do is just remember that.
Correct.
Right? And this problem is solved by a bunch of apps. You can call it to-do apps, you can call them note-taking apps.
Yeah, I think Notion, Apple Notes, like it's a jugaad that we use more or less everywhere.
Yeah.
But
WhatsApp.
Everything,
People use WhatsApp.
I use WhatsApp a lot. I have my own group with me in it, and I use it to remember everything.
Everybody's story. Everybody's story. Even me. I, by the way, call it Mind Palace. Inspired by Sherlock Holmes.
Mine is called I Think Therefore I Am. It's very philosophically.
Yeah, so that's where I put things. So that's what we realized, this is the core problem we are solving. And this was sort of our, aha moment. You know what? We should build an app that is like a second brain. Not just a planner, not just a to-do app, not just a notes app. It should be able to store any thought or anything that I want to remember inside it. Okay. And with the whole AI thing blowing up, the timing makes a lot of sense. Right? You have ChatGPT. We use it every day now, right? We do.
Almost.
Most of the times I realize I did find some very good things while talking to ChatGPT, but I forget about them. I don't know where they are. It's very difficult to look into those chats and find them.
Yeah, there's no search in general. Like, you can't really index them anyway. वो problem है वहाँ पे. Like, even I have forgotten all my conversations. There's a list of them.
Correct. And we do forget a lot of things. So another habit that we observed was I take a lot of Twitter, Instagram screenshots. They're just lying in my phone. Yeah. When I need them, I can't find them.
Never.
Yeah.
This is like fill up the phone memory. There's nothing there. Okay.
Correct. So this is the problem we are trying to solve. We're trying to create a second brain that can store your thoughts, your tasks, your notes, anything you want to remember from anywhere. Just go to your second brain and ask it. Okay. Because that is a digital version of you. Right? Nice. That's what we are working on.
Okay. How is the response till now? Like, if you can talk numbers, like how have you grown past few months?
I can talk one number because that was just something that is making us feel really happy in the last week,
Okay.
right? And that's like a okay. So the number is, we were averaging around 5 views on Google in the first week of October. And today we have converted that number 5 200 times.
Okay.
We have seen 200 times growth in just last 45 days. Since we discovered, okay, this is the problem we want to solve, this is what our product is gonna do, and right now we are very close to releasing the version 2 of Adobe,
Right.
which caters to this exact problem. Yes, at the heart, I agree. Every to-do app, every note app does exactly what I talk about, right? The information is scattered, the problem is scattered, but we are trying to bring it in a single platform where you could do all of this together. So
Okay.
the overall idea still remains the same.
So right now it's just like a desktop application कि mobile app भी launch किया तुमने.
Okay, so we have gone very much back and forth on that, but we decided to stick with a like a web-based system first.
Okay.
Only because it allows us to iterate faster. With a mobile app, it adds a lot of friction to send out those updates every now and then,
Right.
and get the right feedback. And like you said, retention is low in the
And
start,
very
right?
low. Like we with Cuddly, we are realizing that कि मतलब retention is a problem in general, and that too happens because your product journeys are not completely built yet. Like you know in your head,
Yeah.
what do you want to please want to reach in this particular app, and until you reach there, you know कि your retentions are going to be very fucked up.
Correct.
So apps, though I am very much sure कि getting people to download apps is a big thing. So
Yeah.
web platforms, of course, reliance on the platform is good, but it depends on app to app. For you, it might make sense to do it. For us, it builds an issue of trust. If you're doing it in a web-based system, the trust that people have on a web-based system versus an app-based system is different.
I agree.
Because
in fact,
it comes to the filter of Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. Like trust is a very transferable entity. Like people transfer their trust on multiple things onto one thing before they choose to use that particular object or a app. So I feel that is what you're backing. हाँ ठीक है, मतलब Apple Store में होना, Google Play Store में होना, all these are social cues कि these are good products, something like that. So,
I agree with you. Like, app is definitely on our roadmap. We just want to get to a few numbers first before we commit to building a full-fledged mobile application.
Okay.
And plus, our experience of my experience for last 4-5 years has been majorly with React. So it's easier for me to just code and get things.
So you're coding also right now the application.
Yes, I'm very much involved in the coding process.
Okay, nice. Okay, what else? We're talking about this one, the application only. Okay, so give an introduction about what Adobe does and what your right now journey has been. Future plans, we're saying you're planning to release a new feature. Like where do you see yourself with this application the next year or 2 years? Like what are your strategies behind those?
Okay. Right now we are simply trying to focus on, again, solving for retention. That's the problem. Acquisition is something we didn't face any challenge with to start with, and then bringing the users in, getting the feedback also is something that we have already solved for. We're trying to convert that traffic into like a monetary value, and see if we can monetize the app.
Okay.
Also because we want to stay bootstrapped. Had we been a funded company, we would have.
So are you not looking for funding at all, or are you looking for...
No, we are not.
You're not. You're
No,
going to
absolutely
do it in-house
not.
completely.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, what do you think is a difference fundraising would make to your journey? If you suppose decide to fundraise, what is the difference that you feel would add, like it would add to your entire product or experience of the product?
I think it's more to do with personal goals. Like you, me, or anybody who's in business is doing it for some version of themselves that they look forward to in future, right?
Right.
For me, that version is staying bootstrapped and having the flexibility and having to continue working with my father.
So what that would be your measure of success? Like your definition of success doesn't involve an objective of fundraising, because fundraising isn't okay. That's another thing. I have to fundraising and success are two different entities. Like people can fundraise and also fail at products. People can bootstrap and also succeed at products. You've seen both cases happening. So what is your definition of success? Like, is it like just कि मुझे बस इस पे काम करना है, मुझे खुश रहना है, or is it something more? Like, what do you feel? When do you feel कि हाँ मैंने कुछ कर लिया है, हो गया?
Okay, I think for me that moment would be when a doer reaches at least 1 million downloads.
Okay.
Or 1 million users, strictly staying bootstrapped and proving in this market that you can build a consumer app in a bootstrap way. So I've always believed in unconventional paths. And yeah, I think I'm up for the challenge.
Nice. Okay, I think more or less everything around work is done. We can talk something about tech wise. What do you see, like, as people who are building out things right now? What should be they looking at? What interesting technological insight that you feel you have about the future that might change things? What would that be?
So to begin with, I feel like the industry around us is completely changing. We, in the early ages of internet, we had like product, then development, and then design. So three different verticals would be what a traditional company would work in. And then over time we started if you imagine it like in like a Venn diagram, and then there were some overlaps between product and engineering, then engineering and design, and then product and design. I think they're all merging together.
Like, I feel like product as a role has started merging into the engineering and design roles. I could see that right now. Designers are now capable enough with the tools that they have to build their own PRDs and communicate with developers.
Right.
And developers can do the same about their work with designers. You don't really need a product role anymore. It can just be like a liaison between these two entities. So धीरे धीरे करके I think everyone, these solo roles will start growing. I'll become a product guy. I'll also become a developer with the help of my AI agent that I have, and I can build out my own applications. I can build out my own suite of games, whatever I want to do. So ये होगा. But is it going to happen in this timeline that we are looking at, like the ones that are being pitched कि नहीं अगले 5 साल में सब change होगा? Or do you feel we still have time and there are things that we can build in this region?
So there are two ways to look at it. If you are a core engineering person today and you want to be a founder, there's a very good opportunity for you to create a platform that allows you to do the stuff that you talked about, right? Because that would require a lot of engineering to start with.
Correct.
And on the other side, if you're somebody who is not into tech and wants to get your hands onto the software business or mobile apps or web apps, very good time to start again, right? You can get started with minimal effort. You can get the ball rolling. You can get some designs, get some development. But I feel like even today or even 5 years from now, you'll still need some expertise to maintain those projects. Like, I work with ChatGPT on an everyday basis, but it fucks up sometimes.
Oh, for me, it has been a very miserable experience for the past few days. Like, I don't know what happened with the entire training mode that is a GPT or GPT or many.
Yeah.
I'm not getting great results from what I'm looking for. Like, just like I felt maybe it was like कि हाँ ठीक है, initially the beauty of it was really fine. Oh, something can do this.
Yeah.
But now that I'm scrutinizing whatever it is doing, it feels like I could do better. Like, it's ठीक है, मैं कर लूँगा, मतलब ये तो रहने दे.
So it's just making humans better. Think about it.
Right.
It's just another Google or another Stack Overflow for those developers.
वो workflow time कम कर रहा है, but eventual analysis of elements is still something you are doing. Whether or not even simple as do I use whatever is in front of me, or is it not usable at all, is something also as a final point a human is doing. And I feel it will stay in the loop until these systems become great at analytics, which I feel is tough. Like, language and analytics are two different things. Proficiency over language, proficiency over analytics would come from, I don't know, reasoning abilities. And reasoning abilities, I don't know how to train in an LLM. How do they train in an LLM? So these, I still have some, मतलब मेरा overall opinion थोड़ा सा अलग है. I feel it won't go to an extent which we are saying it will go to, wherein everything will be automated in the next few years. Because LLMs just can't be the answer. There has to be a bit more different tech that can resolve for AI, a general AGI. तो उसके लिए टाइम लगेगा मुझे लग रहा है. Maybe not, maybe I'm wrong, but why not?
I agree with you to an extent that we still have a lot of time. Like you said, AI is very good at giving you the first 75% of the work.
Correct.
But the remaining 25% has to be plugged in by a human
Yep.
who knows what he's doing. Right? And you need to know, have done a lot of things to plug in that 25%, because otherwise you're going
Right.
to make those novice mistakes.
Exactly. The same
Right.
way the AI is being trained. Even I have been trained over the last few years to understand what to use and what not to use.
Exactly.
वो दोनों पे ये होना जरूरी है, मतलब both
Correct.
have to be in sync.
Correct, but still a good way to speed things up. Like we say, AI is truly revolutionizing the productivity.
Yeah.
Developers have become 10x developers, right? And people who are utilizing these tools for development, great, they're doing wonderful job. If you're not, you're losing out on this.
Agreed. Exactly. Like AI has to be used as is, like as a tool. Use it as much as you can. Use
Exactly.
it. Don't be scared of what it can do. See what it is doing today. Make use of it. Make your life better. Make your work better. Move on. आगे जो होगा that we'll figure out. मतलब
I don't think it's something to get scared about. At the end of the day, it's made by humans. Come on.
Exactly. Like I have always asked Rahul this thing कि if people are saying कि everything in the world will be automated,
Yeah.
and there's no one working in any other factories or any other companies or any other tech platforms, then who is getting paid enough to buy the things that these companies are producing? If a Netflix employee gets paid is when he buys things from Walmart or buys things from Amazon. If he's not getting paid for his work, how will he buy? How will the economy function at that point? You cannot automate everything. You cannot think about firing every individual out there unless you're saying, "Haan, theek hai, for every one automation I do, I pay equivalent sum of salary to this one person so that he can keep the economy functioning and use my product."
I think you've gone hundreds of years in future.
Don't
that
see
is
that too
happening
much into the future. But I think everything being automated is not a great thing. Because you can't really automate everything.
Yeah, but new industries pop up as new tech comes up. Like talk about printing press. Before that, people used to print things using labor. Printing press came, a lot of jobs went away.
Right.
Industrialization came, a lot of jobs went away. Right.
But all of these technologies just made the delivery of knowledge, like printing to say right now when we were at web, what happened was there was knowledge base somewhere and you were able to access that knowledge base. Now it is even faster with AI already knowing what you want to find out. You don't really look at other sources anymore. You will be given some directed information about what you are looking for without a lot of research, and you will kind of have time to execute on that. But will that take away from our ability that comes from analyzing a lot of different things, looking at things that have failed, looking at things that are counterintuitive to what we have asked but have a different perspective altogether, and just knowing that helps us improve on this solution. So these things I feel will go away, and that's a thing we should be scared of.
I think we are, since we belong to tech, we're looking at things from only tech perspective. But remember, tech is only a small part of the word. Still, there is farming to begin with. There is construction to begin with. There is space tech coming up.
Space is another good venture coming up. That's interesting for the next 20 years.
Correct. So things are there. Like there is word outside tech. You look around in India, like most of the world is still outside tech.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's okay. I think it's just gonna increase the productivity. I really like that quote by I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correct. Anderson, the founder of A216Z, the famous venture capital
firm. I know.
I've heard him talk a couple of times that are we finally gonna see a single person build a unicorn?
Oh, I'm sure you're gonna see that.
Yeah,
that is going to happen. Single person or maximum under 10 people firms being unicorns. Even when
that was done long back.
Already, Midjourney is still doing it. Midjourney, I don't know if they're still making money out of it. But when they started, they had 11 employees and they're making 100 million a year in revenue. So that's it. Like I feel we'll reach to a point where a single person unicorn है, 2 person unicorn तो पक्का है.
I think we have already reached 8, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, which one? Which form?
To start with WhatsApp. When it got acquired, there were 11, right? 11 people in the team. So after that, also there are a couple of companies who have reached that
initially
high.
I feel in Instagram it did $500 million ka sale, I think. Sold $500 million, 25 people. That's it. It was possible. I do not know why we have gone to a point where hiring has become like a thing. Like अगर रेस किया अराउंड तो लोग हायर करो, भले ही उनके लिए काम ना हो तुम्हारे पास, but हायर करके रखो. That is not necessary anymore. You can do with less number of people.
So like it's interesting. Like I don't know the reason behind it, but yeah, you're right. That's a good observation. That every time you raise around, you like expand the team, but that's not really required.
Not required. You
It
don't
just increase
need
the productivity, man.
exactly. You just have to make sure that your people who are working for you right now
Yeah.
keep working at the peak productivity that they want. Like that's it. Don't make their life miserable.
No, but there are good founders that I've met in Bangalore lately who have raised all the way to series A and still have team less than 10, which is remarkable.
I would appreciate like these are amazing
Yeah.
people. कि हाँ ठीक है चल जाएगा.
Correct.
We are driving.
But there are
value from 10
certain.
people.
It should also be like which product you're building, which segment you are.
Correct.
Right?
You can't have an operation heavy business doing under 10 people. Operation
Correct.
heavy है तो तुम्हें चाहिए on ground लोग चाहिए.
Correct.
But
And
tech software only businesses, that is where I feel
there also model depends, right? If you
Which
are a PLG or SLG,
हाँ.
if you're a SLG, you can't stay under 10.
Right.
इतना तो sales team ही चाहिए होगा.
चाहिए होता.
Right?
Agreed.
So it depends what you're doing, but it's good to know that you can build large products, large companies, staying small.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing like consumer or B2B SaaS or something like that. So that's something that's possible today.
I agree. That is thing. मतलब हाँ ठीक है. अभी थोड़े छोटे teams बन के small products will come into place. Each one will get their own smaller market share instead of few big players dominating it. अब हर कोई अपना अपना कुछ कर सकता है इसमें. I feel that might be a thing of the future.
Think about it. It's very much replicating what has already happened in the FMCG space. So you have these example Hindustan Pencils. Did you know Natraj and Apsara are same companies?
Yeah, I know that. The parent companies are same.
Yes, exactly. Always have been the same. But it's the same company building two consumer products, right? And then you talk about Hindustan Unilever. They have 200, 300 brands under them, right?
Right. And there are competing products within themselves also.
Exactly.
If anything and they dominate the market. If something comes up, they are going to buy you out because they own the distribution channels.
Exactly.
If you want to go from a small 10, 15 crore brand to a 1,000 crore brand, you have to eventually sell to Hindustan Unilever because they'll get you into shops. Or else you're not going anywhere. You're selling online.
So distribution is the key. And same thing for software. Today, the cost of building a software has drastically come down because less people are able to do the job because they've become more productive. And the key differentiator is going to be distribution. Right. If you don't have the right distribution, it's very difficult to...
Exactly. Like even great products would not work if you have problems with distribution. Distribution has become a key right now. And content is the only way you can create distribution.
I don't agree with that.
What do you think? What other ways there are to build distribution?
A lot of other ways. You just have to be creative enough.
Like कुछ अगर example देना रहा तो.
Like to start with, content creation is one of the major factors of building a distribution today. But you could still do that by doing very innovative, unorthodox campaigns. Something that I remember, there's this company called Jupiter.
Bank.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct.
I know.
They a couple of years ago did some campaign where they walked with some banners in Kora, and that became such a big thing. You know, everybody posted about them.
But that is the point. Everybody posted about them. Eventually, it became content that drove that marketing campaign to virality.
Correct, but they didn't initiate it, right? It's the other people who are fueling their...
You either market yourself on channels or you do something that is marketable on social channels. Like eventually your virality will come on social channels. It will not come directly through word of mouth.
No, but that's just a means of communication, right? Today we have social. Before this we had newspaper.
Yeah.
Before that we have other things.
If
so that's just
10 years ago, if I was building this, I was like, हाँ नहीं newspaper में article छपना चाहिए, तभी viral जाएंगे.
Yeah.
So that domain is going to keep changing. But as of today, I feel content is the way to do it because content reaches a lot of audience and it's a huge chunk of audience. Like I think collectively Facebook has some $2 billion users across 3 applications a day: WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. So if I want to reach this audience, I want to say a part of that audience, 100 million people I want to reach. So I can do that through this channel. I don't have to worry about कि मुझे और क्या करना चाहिए. Then that can come through either content or through marketable activities. Like there are people there's a dating app called Schmooze. So they do these videos on Church Street. When they go talk to people, they kind of set people up on dates, all of that. So their content strategies क्या है कि इसके through हम virality create करेंगे. But still that channel eventually is still Meta, yeah, Instagram, whatever it be.
But I still think SEO still works, right? There are other channels. SEO works if a lot of people are relying on ChatGPT these days, not going to Google. But as a personal observation, I still go to these unorthodox channels to look for a restaurant near me. I'm not gonna ask ChatGPT for that, right?
No, of course not.
I'm just
I
gonna
would
go on
rather ask
Google
Maps.
and
कि कहाँ है बता.
exactly. And so SEO still works depending on which sector you are. For example, if I'm looking for an apartment near me, I'm like good luxury society near me.
हाँ.
You can't do all of that on
Of course not. I
ChatGPT.
think
So,
जब तक उसको इंटरनेट एक्सेस नहीं मिल जाता, तब तक तो all these things would be.
no, it still has internet access.
It has limited knowledge access, right? It can't. It's not upgrade to knowledge base currently, is it?
No, so if you are in ChatGPT Premium,
Huh.
yeah, it has access to internet.
Oh, okay. I have tried basic link searches with that. I don't do a lot of
Oh, you can
intense
ask it anything.
web searches. I do
No.
more like कि मेरे पास ये documentation है, मैंने लिखा हुआ है, इसको fine tune कर.
हाँ.
That all is my kind of workflow on GPT.
नहीं,
I generally avoid web.
it does the job, but I think that's only in the paid version, like the
Okay.
premium one.
Acha, maybe I'll try it out. Okay. Anything else? What else? You talked about AI. What are your thoughts on crypto? Crypto is booming now again.
Honestly, no idea. Honestly, I haven't understood Web 3.0 yet, and that's why I'm not gonna put out anything on any opinion on that right now. I just haven't understood the applications for it yet, and whatever I have understood so far is very dark.
It kind of entails the anonymity, which means you can do a
Yeah.
certain amount of things, but that was also the thing with the current web.
Right.
Like 2/3 of our web still exists on the dark web and not the actual web that we all of us scroll like browse through. So everything will have a darker side, which will have something or the other happening, which will be counterintuitive to your morale. But I would feel then the government agencies that are there should be the ones regulating it and not really just like outright saying कि हाँ बंद कर दो इन्हें, टैक्स लगा दो, ये कर दो. Like don't demotivate innovators. Foster innovation. You'll come up with some unique solutions because it would solve so many challenges for us as a country. Like we have a huge backlog in these property digitization sector. So I have a small apartment. My grandparents own a few land parcels somewhere. My parents own something. So all of that, when you're doing this process, it is a very long process because this paperwork itself takes a lot of time. Whereas transfer of assets, if they are digitally annotated, digitally kind of created, those might be easier to execute. But then it will be so easy कि कोई भी कुछ भी कर सकता है. तो इसमें security का logic आता है. So all these things are going to be back and forth until someone solves for them. But I feel right now it's just a hype cycle yet. Like अभी तक कुछ है नहीं, concrete बना नहीं उसमें. जो usable है.
Honestly, I can't really comment on that. I haven't yet found it, like the one that you told about property. Like this is the first time I'm hearing about it. Sounds very
something
interesting.
People are experimenting right now. You're like even I heard like few in the state governments in India also they've put out contracts to kind of explore this tech. कि
Okay.
क्या हम ownership को tokenize कर सकते हैं. All those things.
That would be interesting to
Yeah,
see.
exactly. Those would be interesting.
That's a real
applications.
problem to
Yep.
solve. Yeah, that would be interesting. But other than that, I'm not so sure about the rest of the things yet.
Right. I feel मतलब eventually धीरे धीरे करके कुछ ना कुछ use cases आएंगे. फिलहाल तो yeah, there's nothing much that can really excite me कि हाँ यार ये हो रहा है यहाँ पर. The way AI does, I don't think crypto can do the same hype, maintain the same hype right now.
The recent update on Claude about it being able to access a computer.
Oh, I saw.
That was something
That was
groundbreaking
nice.
for me. Like I saw a video on that, and that
got distracted midway.
Yeah, but that was freaky.
Yeah. मतलब तूने देखा there's a video wherein it is given a task Claude and it can now control your desktop. It can click on different things, open up.
You see the mouse
type.
moving, man. It's so scary.
हाँ, exactly. Mouse खुद move करता है, सब कुछ करता है. And it was given some task, and midway through the task, it started exploring images of some random thing. And then it फिर उसके नहीं वापस आया, तो वापस आके वो task पे आया फिर वो. That human moment of distraction, that was the first time I saw in a video. I was like, nice. It was nice. But like that is something that will धीरे धीरे करके become more and more normal. I feel. कुछ ना कुछ करने देंगे उसे.
I think there are a lot of layers to AI. It's just the start. LLM is just the start.
Yep.
Let's see what's in store for us.
Yes, I think the amount of changes we have seen since we have grown up. In 25 years, we saw computer grow from this big of a box with two different boxes to now one being on my arm, one in a lap, two of them shooting us. Like it has become very common now. Like वो आगे 25 साल में क्या होगा वो तो we'll figure out. We'll see what happens.
Spatial computing already
Spatial
there.
computing already there. I have been
Yeah.
using MetaQuest for a while. Good.
Yeah,
thing.
correct. So I think that's the next thing where you could experience digital experiences in your physical environment.
Yeah.
The Ray-Ban Meta glasses also
Those
came
are
out.
also a good
Yeah.
initiative. Yeah.
Yeah, Google came out, but that was ahead of their time.
वो तो अब हाँ, I think they
हाँ.
had those small display
Google Glass,
over here,
yeah.
Google Glass के थे.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the newer ones, the one Meta showcased recently, those are even the concept ones, of course, but those are even more advanced with the complete real world simulation of entities.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
I'm still waiting to get my hands on that Apple.
Oh, Vision Pro.
Yeah.
I got a Quest 3. I was like, fine, Vision Pro नहीं करेंगे, बहुत ज़्यादा
नहीं.
महंगा.
Yeah, I want to try it out. I haven't yet.
Oh, you can try out the Quest 3. It's good.
Done. Let's do
But yes, apart from that, I think हाँ हो गया, इतना ही था. सब कुछ major नहीं था. Casual discussion रखना था. We have talked about in general everything about Shivang's life and what he's been doing. So guys, go use Adobe. Apart from that, I think we're done for the day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shivang, for
Thank
being our first guest on the podcast.
No problem. Anytime.
Yes, chalo. Thank you. Cut.
Thank you.